Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. Earlier this week, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow. As Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem, Netanyahu is engaged in a high-stakes geopolitical chess match to keep Israel safe.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu took to Twitter to explain why he went to Moscow and met with Putin.
I just finished good and intensive talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. I told him Israel views seriously two developments. First, Iran's attempt to establish itself militarily in Syria. The second, Israel's attempt to create in Lebanon precise weaponry to be used against Israel. I made it clear to him we won't agree to any one of these developments and we will act as needed.
Netanyahu's meeting was followed up by an article by an Israeli general. He said Iran is turning Lebanon into one big missile factory while the international community looks the other way, and warned the people of Lebanon they've become pawns in the hands of Iran. He wrote the ordinary citizen will be mistaken to think that this process turns Lebanon into a fortress. It is nothing more than a barrel of gunpowder on which he, his family, and his property are sitting. 1 in every 3 or 4 houses in southern Lebanon is a headquarters, a post, a weapons depot, or a Hezbollah hideout. We know these assets and know how to attack them accurately if required.
Right now, Lebanon is effectively a fully owned franchise of Islamic Republic of Iran.
Many Mideast observers like Jonathan Spire, the author of Days of the Fall, a reporter's journey in the Syria and Iraq wars, feel that Lebanon no longer controls its own destiny.
What it confirms is just the extent to which today Hezbollah and the other clients of Iran have effectively swallowed up Lebanon. That's to say, from originally constituting a kind of state within a state in Lebanon, they have now, as of recent months, effectively swallowed up the real state.
The general's article is just one of the latest warnings by Israel that the next war with Hezbollah will not be like the last one.
This won't be like it was in 2006, a little kind of border skirmish or series of skirmishes between the Israel Defense Forces and Hezbollah. No, this will have the dimensions of a state-to-state conflict. From Israel's point of view, Hezbollah and Lebanon today are the same thing, and if war comes again, therefore it will be a war between the state of Israel and the state of Lebanon this time around.
It remains to be seen if Lebanon, Russia, and the international community will heed the warnings by Israel. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
A controversial memo that Republicans say shows the FBI playing politics could come out today. The House Intelligence Committee gave the memo to President Trump earlier this week. It centers around the 2016 election and how the FBI reportedly targeted a Trump campaign official. Republicans say the information the agency used to get the warrant to monitor Carter Page was incomplete and misrepresented to the court. CBN's Jenna Browder is in Washington and joins us live. Welcome, Jenna.
Hi, Mark. Well, the White House says that the president has not yet made a decision. Of course, earlier this week, he did say he would 100% release this memo. So really, it looks like it's a matter of when. It could come as soon as later today, made public later today. The reason that this is so controversial is the way the FBI went about getting this FISA memo to surveillance a Trump campaign official. Basically, it took this false dossier that was paid for by the Democrats to the court. It didn't tell the court that it was paid for by these Democrats, and the court gave that FISA warrant to the FBI. So that's what all of the fuss is about. President Trump for a long time has been saying that all of this is a real witch hunt. So depending on what is in that memo, this could prove that point, or at least support it.
Jenna, most voters might be more concerned about pocketbook issues than this memo, which leads us to the midterm elections. It seems like, what is your take on that? What do you think about the midterms heading into those?
President Trump, he is making the case for the economy and for these middle-class tax relief cuts. And so he did that in the State of the Union, and I think we'll continue to see that. He, of course, is also saying that the Democrats are way out of touch. He and Mike Pence and all of the Republicans are making that argument. You'll recall recently Nancy Pelosi said that these tax cuts were mere breadcrumbs. About $2,000 will be given to the average American family. Well, President Trump, he hit back hard, saying that her comments about the breadcrumbs were like Hillary Clinton's deplorable comments. So it has yet to be seen who can win over the middle-class voters, but they are certainly going to be a big part in these midterm elections.
What position are the Democrats taking here?
The Democrats are saying this is, the classic play by the Republicans, saying that these tax cuts benefit the corporations and not so much the middle-class American. In the past, Mark, this argument has worked very well for them. But as you know, the economy is so strong right now, and people seeing a real positive benefit in their pockets. So it is yet to be seen if they'll in fact buy it this time around.
Okay, Jenna Browder in Washington, D.C., thank you for your insights.
Thanks, Mark.
In other news, a 12-year-old girl has been arrested after two teenagers were shot and wounded in a Los Angeles middle school. The shooting happened at Sal Castro Middle School. Police are now looking at the incident as an accident. A 15-year-old boy was shot in the head and a 15-year-old girl was shot through the wrist.
There was like a pop, a big pop. It didn't sound quite like a gun, but it was a gun. I saw a student was bleeding near her vein, and the blood was squirting out all over the floor.
Miraculously, both students are expected to be okay. Two other students and a teacher were treated for minor injuries and released. The young girl could be facing charges of negligent discharge of a firearm. A former Kansas governor and senator was officially sworn in Thursday as U.S. Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom. CBN's Eric Rosales spoke one-on-one with Sam Brownback about his goals for the future.
From the beginning, America has been a place that has cherished the freedom to worship. Sadly, many throughout the globe do not enjoy that same freedom. But the new Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom, Sam Brownback, hopes to change that.
We've got several key places that there are really big problems in right now. Northern Iraq, there is a genocide taking place against the Yazidis and the Christians. We have made that declaration. People know what's going on. There's no reason that we really shouldn't be all over this and put this back down.
Ambassador Brownback says America's promotion of international religious freedom demands standing up for the rights of the world's most vulnerable populations. He says ISIS continues to target members of multiple religions and ethnicities for rape, kidnapping, enslavement, and even death. And Brownback says with this Trump administration behind him, those atrocities must and will stop.
If you want more security and less terrorism in your country, have more religious freedom. It is a byproduct, it's a fruit of religious freedom, is more security and peace. It's in all the data, and now we need to spread it to all the world. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Brownback was sworn in by Vice President Mike Pence. President Trump first nominated Brownback for the ambassador's post last July, but Democrats opposed his appointment. He was confirmed for the position after senators voted 49-49, with Pence breaking the tie, something the vice president reminded him during the swearing-in event.
And that's why it was a particular honor for me as well to cast not one but two tie-breaking votes to see Sam Brownback confirmed by the United States Senate.
Yeah, not many people have that distinction, having the vice president vote for him twice for the same job. But I did, and unfortunately, there's just so much partisanship here in Washington. This is a bipartisan topic, religious freedom, but things have just gotten so testy here that even a position like this draws a lot of partisanship.
At the end of his speech, the ambassador said that he wants to see the expansion of religious freedom around the globe. A fight for the voiceless. A fight that God will bless. From the White House, Eric Rosales, CBN News.
Coming up, calling for a reformation. See how new doors are opening for Christians to share their faith. Well, Welcome back. Many Christians believe they've lost the culture war and that their country is slipping away. Some say a third great awakening could rescue it. As Paul Strand reports from Orlando, others believe it'll take more than a national revival. They say it will require a world-changing reformation.
We are told to lead individual souls to Christ, but the Bible also tells us to disciple nations. Well, how do you do that? That might take a little more than revival. Maybe that's what reformation is all about.
In Psalm 2, God the Father says to Jesus, "I will make the nations your inheritance."
The people are very important. You know, salvation, evangelism is important.
But Pastor Mario Bramnick says salvations one by one won't turn a whole nation, and revivals don't last long enough. Reformation, though, can fundamentally change or reform a country.
Reformation is really the kingdom of God coming into every aspect of society.
We've got to think big, we've got to think beyond just the person in front of us.
Florida pastor Jeremiah Johnson.
So it's real important for the church to really shift into reformation, which to me is long term, it's sustained. Revival is short term.
Johnson shared that message at an Orlando conference put together by Christian leader Lance Wallnau. Wallnau agrees, saying if millions can capture the high points of society that influence culture, they can then reform it.
I am holding out for an end-time move of God, that we always think of it in terms of a harvest of souls, because we play shallow. We should be looking for a harvest of nations.
Wallnau points out if you don't occupy the territory God gives you, it becomes worse when you lose it. He says Christian leaders love to talk about the wondrous Welsh revival.
We get all sentimental and teary up, the Welsh revival, and we talk about what happened. But if you go to Wales today, only 2% of the population goes to church, 98% is secular.
Both Wallnau and Johnson say Christians need to go out and change the world where they can, like at work and in their neighborhoods.
They're being impacted inside of the church, but we're not empowering them to reach out in their various spheres of influence.
We get together and pray, and then we think, well, that's done. So actually, no. That's like the starting point.
And Wallnau and Bramnick believe the 2016 election could be that starting point.
When we realized we were about to lose our nation in the last election, but we united, we began to cry out to God, repent, fast, and mobilize.
25 million spiritually active, governmentally engaged conservatives, sage cons, Christians, showed up 92% in alignment with the fact that it wouldn't be Hillary, it would be Donald Trump.
Bramnick now regularly counsels and prays in Washington and the White House, where he remembers what President Trump told evangelical leaders from the start.
And you've been denied. You are now freely welcomed here. And then he said to the faith community, I am restoring your voice, and I'm restoring it at the highest level.
Bramnick has seen what he considers miracles at the White House, like when he met to pray with fellow Christian leaders across the street.
Someone gave Ramiro Pena a word and said, Pastor Pena, I want you to look out the window. The window oversaw the White House. I want you to see yourself in the Oval Office and decree and declare the fatherhood of God over President Trump.
Just a few minutes later, Bramnick got a phone call from the White House to come right over.
We get called to the Oval Office. Pastor Ramiro Pena speaks to the president, decrees and declares the fatherhood of God, what we prayed and visualized an hour and a half ago. We got to speak to the president.
Wallnau believes this favor in the highest places can be accelerated into worldwide reformation.
What we get is a global movement. It's not just about America. America is a key to keeping the door open on the experiment of self-governing, self-control, liberty, and religious freedom.
It'll be a real fight, though.
Do not think that the door cannot be closed. It is a massive battle. We cannot let our guards down. There is a war for the soul of our nation.
Johnson says victory will take every believer stepping up.
Whether you have influence of 5 people or 500,000, be faithful to where God has strategically positioned you. And the Lord said to me, if you'll be faithful in the small things, I'll give you access to the big things.
So we've already seen the move of God start. If we can just stay engaged in the process.
Paul Strand, CBN News, Orlando.
Well, up next, the Super Bowl is almost here. We've got some fun tips to help you enjoy the day with the entire family. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. The Super Bowl is this weekend, and if you're looking for some fun and inexpensive ways to enjoy the game with your family, our Charlene Aaron is at home with Heather, and they've got some tips on how to do just that.
Okay, Heather, we're here at your house for this beautiful, beautiful setup for Super Bowl party.
That's right. Football's coming to an end. The Super Bowl's right here. Now, maybe your team didn't make it, or maybe you're not even a football fan, but the Super Bowl is a great excuse to throw a party.
I love a party. Let's
love a
rock
party.
it.
So today we're going to talk a 10 for 10 touchdown.
10 for 10.
That's 10 minutes. $10 or less to help you score a touchdown with your guests at this year's tailgate.
First of all, tell us about this awesome tablecloth.
We're going to break it down to paper products. That's the first part. $1 tablecloth.
$1.
All you have to do, you can leave it green if you want, or if you want to kick it up a notch.
How cute is this?
$1 duct tape.
I love it.
Add your lines, add your numbers, and bam, there you go. The ultimate field for your table.
Super cool and super cute.
Super cute.
I love it.
Next dollar you can spend are napkins. These are really cute football napkins.
Yeah.
We're going to double purpose these. We
That
can
is
use
so
them as
awesome.
napkins, but find some string around the house. Tie it to the front of your table. Just tape it on there, and then really easily just slide these over, and
How
there you
easy is
have
that?
a banner for $1 or less.
Oh, I'm doing this.
Next,
I'm
look
so
into
doing it.
your cabinet. Well, you can serve your snacks with these cute little brown paper bags.
So adorable.
Then go into your medicine cabinet and find your white medical tape. Put the lines on there. Now you have a football bag to serve.
Oh, wow. People are going to be talking about your party.
Yeah, and don't forget to get cute plates and fun little serverwares. They have all this stuff for $1 or less. So under 10, you can have a really cute setup
10 for 10.
For less.
And delicious food, too.
And delicious. So now what are you going to serve with your setup?
Yeah.
Well, this is the ultimate concession stand food, and that's called a walking taco.
Well, it smells amazing.
So amazing. You just take your brown your ground beef, throw some taco seasonings in there, find your favorite tortilla chips, smash them up. You want to open them up, and then you take all your seasonings, have them in little bowls, but you're just going to drop in your ground beef here. And you
How easy and cool is that?
Isn't it so cute?
Super cute.
And you're creating your taco as we are doing it. And you know, Charlene, the best part about this is it is no cleanup.
Oh, yeah.
Because you throw
That's my kind of party.
Mine too. You throw everything away, and you just mix it up, and you can just eat your taco while you're walking around.
And just throw it in the trash.
And just throw it in the trash.
I love it. Easy cleanup.
Easy cleanup.
Super inexpensive and cute.
And another easy trick is desserts.
Okay.
You don't have to go out of the box. Just get it literally out of the box with a brownie mix.
I love it.
A $1 brownie mix,
Got
a
it.
$1 icing, and those are football brownies.
I
How
love
cute
it.
are they?
They're adorable.
You just pipe the little icing on there. You don't have to be an artist, but it just adds a little flavor to the Super Bowl
People will think
party.
you had this catered. It's amazing. And so finally, we're going to wash everything down.
Wash it down with some ref water.
Ref water, yeah.
Water is really important to get our intake, and
Drink
it's
your water.
such an easy, inexpensive
That's right.
thing to have. Find some white scratch paper around, a black Sharpie, write your lines on there. Get the kids to help you.
Oh, how fun. The kids would
So
love
cute.
doing
My
that.
kids help me tape it on there,
I love
and
it.
there you go.
I love it, Heather.
So here we are, things for less to help you score big for this year's tailgate.
10 for 10, Heather.
10 for 10.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, some great ideas there, ladies. Thank you. We'll be right back with more of CBN NewsWatch. Don't go away. The weekend is here, and if you're looking for some family-friendly entertainment options, our friends from Focus on the Family's Plugged In Online have a review of Mary and the Witch's Flower. Take a look.
Mary, he's dangerous. Stop!
In the movie Mary and the Witch's Flower, there's a girl named Mary, as you might expect. She's a young girl with too much energy, too much free time, and in her opinion, way too much red hair. In fact, even though Mary is really very sweet and always eager to help, it seems that the only thing people remember about her is the wreckage she leaves in her wake and her explosion of frizzy, fiery hair.
I found it in the woods.
But then, Mary finds something special in a dark, secluded corner of a local woods. It's called a witch's flower. And though Mary is certainly no witch, the oil from this flower changes everything.
What is going on?
That blue glowing goo allows her to fly a broom, cast spells, and even journey to a fantastic cloud-based academy for witches.
This is Indoor College, one of the most prestigious schools for witches.
Even red hair is an asset in this magic world. And suddenly Mary starts thinking she could get used to this.
I made a promise.
Japanese import with an English voiceover dub is a colorful kids' pick. It suggests that pursuing fantastic things can sometimes come with its own set of dangers.
In this world, there exist certain powers that can never be harnessed.
And that our life doesn't need spells and witchy stuff to still be magical. That said, there's still lots of goofy, playful magicking in the mix. So I'm giving Mary and the Witch's Flower 3.5 crystal orbs out of 5 for family friendliness. For more on this film, be sure to check out PluggedIn.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Cheryl Wilhelmy for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
Well, that's going to do it for CBN NewsWatch, and you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care about most at cbnnews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here, and you can do that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com, or be sure to talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day and a great weekend.